The last time you told someone the truth, they used those very words against you. Didn't they? Stop for a moment. Don't rush to answer. Just be honest with yourself in this moment. I remember the day I sat in a group meeting, around the age of 26. The boss asked, "What does everyone think of this plan?" In my head, it was as clear as day. The plan had a major flaw. I saw at least 3 points that needed reworking. And I told the truth, fully, clearly, and frankly. The result: a week later, the colleague sitting next to me, who'd said nothing during that meeting, was assigned to lead the improvement project. As for me, I was labeled as argumentative. At that moment, I wondered, was I being cowardly or was I just naive? This video isn't teaching you how to lie. It's teaching you something far more powerful than the truth: controlling the information you reveal. And I'll show you why the most successful people do this, consciously, strategically, and in a way that doesn't conflict at all with being a decent person. You weren't betrayed, you betrayed yourself. Imagine you're sitting at a poker table. You've got a great hand, and you smile. The person across from you sees that smile. Game over. It's not because you're incompetent. It's because you revealed your hand too soon. Now, let me tell you about James, someone I know in real life. 28 years old, hardworking, kind, and straightforward. James used to share everything with close colleagues. His ambition to become a team lead, his frustrations with the manager's style, and even his plan to quit if he didn't get a raise this quarter. James thought it was sincerity. It was building trust, that if I'm open, people will trust me more. But here's what happened. Information spread faster than James imagined. The boss knew before James could even act. The team lead position James was aiming for. Someone else took it. Someone who didn't say a word. Just worked and waited for the right moments. James wasn't betrayed. James had handed the weapons to someone else without even realizing it. And here's the core point I want you to engrave today. The issue isn't whether you're honest or not. The issue is that you haven't distinguished which information needs to be shared and which information only you should know. Sincerity is about your values. Transparency is about the information you disclose. These two are completely different. You can be an extremely sincere person and still not need to say everything that's on your mind. But why do we keep doing this to ourselves, even after being hurt plenty of times? The answer lies in what your brain's doing right now. And I'll get to that in just a moment. James's story doesn't stop at losing an opportunity. Afterward, James realized he'd also lost something more subtle, something few people talk about: psychological credibility. People no longer view James as reliable because, ironically, those who share too much are often seen as lacking self-control. The boss began to see James as someone easy to read, and those who are easy to read are easy to lead. James himself lost his self-confidence, because the sense of losing control over a situation, it erodes a person from within. There are 3 specific consequences I want you to look straight in the eye. First, loss of invisible power. When others know what you're thinking, they can predict what you'll do, and someone who's predictable is easily led and manipulated, even if no one says it outright. In social psychology, we call this information asymmetry. Whoever holds more information has the upper hand in every relationship. Second, a paradoxical loss of respect. You think sharing will bring people close. True, but only up to a certain point. Beyond that threshold, people start seeing you as lacking tact. It's not because they're bad, but because that's how the human brain categorizes partners: someone who's in control of themselves, or someone who isn't. Third, losing opportunities in ways you wouldn't expect. This is the most scientific part, and also the most surprising. Research by Peter Gollwitzer at NYU in 2009 indicates when you tell your goals to others, your brain receives a sense of satisfaction as if you've already achieved them, and consequently, it reduces your actual motivation to take action. In other words, speaking a dream aloud can kill that very dream before it even has a chance to grow. You see, the cost isn't just losing a position or an opportunity. The cost's that you're playing your cards with information that's working against you without even knowing it. So why does the human brain self-sabotage like this? This is where psychology comes in, and the answer will make you rethink the entire way you're communicating with everyone around you. Your brain's programmed for self-disclosure. I'm not using the word programmed in a negative sense. What I mean is, there are mechanisms deep within the human brain, shaped through millions of years of evolution, that make us want to share, to be known, to be validated. And in the primitive world, that made sense. But in the complex world of the workplace, relationships, and modern competition, those instincts sometimes become a weakness. There are 3 root causes. The first cause, the need for validation, validation seeking. Every time the brain receives agreement or recognition from others, it releases dopamine, that feel-good chemical. When you speak your thoughts and others nod, saying, "Yeah, that's right," you get a small hit of dopamine. The brain learns very quickly. Speaking out equals reward. And so, We share, not necessarily because we want a genuine connection, but because we're seeking approval. Picture it like this. It's exactly like a child who's finished a drawing and immediately runs to ask, "Is it pretty, Mommy?" We still do that every day, it's just more subtle and polite. But the mechanism's exactly the same. The second cause, confusing sincerity with transparency. We grow up being taught that being honest's a virtue, and that's the truth. But no one teaches us to distinguish between two important concepts: sincerity with values and transparency with information. You can live 100% sincerely without needing to say everything that's in your head. A good doctor doesn't tell a patient every single one of their concerns, not because they're lying, but because they know what needs to be said, when, and to whom. The third cause, fear of silence being misunderstood. The paradox of silence. This is the most subtle one. We're afraid silence will be read as incompetence, unfriendliness, or that something's wrong. So we speak, just to fill the void, to appear open, so others won't think we're mysterious or unapproachable. But that's exactly the trap. Robert Greene, author of The 48 Laws of Power, calls this one of the most fundamental principles of power. Always say less than necessary. Because those who speak less are often perceived as smarter and deeper, not because they're actually more intelligent, but because silence creates a void, and humans tend to fill that void with positive assumptions. You see, these three causes all stem from good intentions: wanting to connect, wanting to be honest, and wanting to be accepted. But without a strategy, they become vulnerabilities. Knowing the causes isn't enough. Now, I'll give you 3 specific tools you can use starting today to begin regaining control. 3 information control tools you can start using today. I've got no patience for pie-in-the-sky solutions. What I'm about to share is simple enough that you can apply it in your very next conversation. But here is where the real power lies. It shifts how you show up in the eyes of others, all without you having to put on an act or change who you are. Tool 1, the 3-second filter. Before saying anything significant, whether it's an opinion, a plan, or an emotion, quickly run these 3 questions through your head. 1. How does sharing this benefit me? 2. Can this be used against me? Now or later. 3. If I don't say it, what's the worst that could happen? If the answer to the third question is nothing, then silence is your smartest move. Think of yourself as your own gatekeeper. Not every guest gets to enter the house, even the regulars. Not every thought needs to be voiced, even to people you trust. I started practicing this habit after that meeting incident I mentioned earlier. At first, it felt forced, like I was overthinking before speaking. But after about 2 weeks, it became a reflex, and I realized I wasn't speaking less, I was speaking with more value. Tool 2, strategic vagueness. This is a skill that diplomats, business leaders, and top negotiators have mastered, yet it's rarely taught to the average person. It is the art of giving an answer without actually answering, all while remaining polite, friendly, and above suspicion. Real-world examples. Someone asks, "What's your next career move?" instead of revealing your true plans. Say, "I'm weighing a few different options. Nothing's set in stone yet." "How about you?" You keep your secret. Pivot the conversation, and the other person doesn't even notice. Someone asks, "What do you think of the boss?" instead of being blunt. Say, "I've noticed everyone has their own working style. Each person brings something different." Neutral, non-committal, and 0 lies. This isn't avoidance. This is calibrated communication, intentional interaction. You are still present in the conversation. You are still friendly. You are simply being selective about what you give away. Tool 3, emotional decoupling. This is the tool I consider the most important and the most difficult. The most dangerous thing you can reveal isn't your plan. It isn't your opinion. It is your immediate emotion. When you are angry, people know exactly which buttons to push. When you are excited, people know what you want and can use that to steer you. Both are pieces of information that can be exploited, even if the person doing it doesn't mean to. The technique I call delay and decode. When emotions run high, immediately say this, either out loud or just in your head. "Let me give it some thought and get back to you." That's it. No further explanation. Then, ask yourself one question: what is this emotion trying to make me do? And if I do it, who actually benefits? That single question has the power to break the cycle of countless impulsive reactions. You are a still lake. Others throw stones to see how you ripple. Because ripples reveal the lake's depth and its weaknesses. The person throwing the stone isn't necessarily your enemy. Sometimes it's just their way of testing you. But the lake that does not ripple is a lake that remains impenetrable. Privacy is not a weapon. It is freedom. I want to be direct with you before we finish. This video isn't about teaching you to be cold. It's not about being manipulative. It's not about viewing others with suspicion or overcalculating every word in every conversation. It's about something far more important: taking ownership of your own mind. You don't owe anyone the full picture of who you are. You don't have to explain every thought just to be considered honest. Sincerity is living true to your values, not spilling everything that's on your mind. The calmest, most respected people in any room aren't the ones who talk the most. They are the ones who know exactly when to speak, what to say, and who to say it to. Today, just try one thing. Every time you're about to say something important, pause for 3 seconds. Ask yourself, what is my purpose for saying this? That answer will change the entire game. And if you've ever been hurt because you said too much, leave a comment below. I want to hear your story, because I guarantee you, you are not alone. See you in the next episode.